fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live as scheduled, as promised. And listen, we got some breaking news, some unexpected news, some doubtful news concerning Oleksandr Usyk, and that's what we want to talk about today. We talked about Anthony Joshua yesterday, part of Oleksandr Usyk, but primarily Anthony Joshua. Now let's talk about Oleksandr Usyk, since Oleksandr Usyk, according to the BBC, okay, he's leaving the Ukraine to prepare, ironically, for war. Okay, and a lot of people, have mixed feelings about this. A lot of people in support of the Ukraine. I was recently in Dallas, and I've seen that they had Ukrainian flags waving proudly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, it looks like the Ukrainian invasion, but it's actually for the Ukrainian support because of what's going on in there, and it just shows around the world, that people are acknowledging what's happening over there. You know what I mean? But hey, sometimes you have to take peace the old-fashioned way. Let's see what we got here. Danny Tedlock. I'm completely surprised but excited as a boxing fan. Danny, me too. Ditto on that. Gonzo, what's up, brother? Good evening to you. Colossus Combat. Bashir with AJ is amazing news for AJ and his fans. Look, that is amazing news. That kind of news is worth hearing, is worth sharing, and most importantly, checkmate, because it's a good counter from Joshua, because he knows, if anybody knows Usyk, besides Papachenko, it's a guy that spent damn near just as much time on the professional end as Papachenko did. And that's who? Okay? Bashir. Ali Bashir. James Ali Bashir spent 3 years with him in the Ukraine, and he worked with him. Of course, Oleksandr Usyk is undefeated. No losses, no draws, no blemishes, no nothing. So he made sure he did everything that he's supposed to do. Since he's did everything he's supposed to do, that shows you that he pays attention to his fighter. And since he pays attention to his fighter, he knows exactly what to expect. Okay? See, that's the beauty of a trainer that actually knows their fighter. They know what to do. That's almost if Tyson Fury would have got Mark Breland, right? And had Mark Breland training him for the trilogy fight with Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. That's the equivalent of that. Carnage, AFC, 1984. Hey, Kurt, how you doing? So it is on. Look, he's training, and we heard Eddie Hearn yesterday, speak on, hey, he has so much or so many, June, because he has that before the fight, to make the fight or whatever, to accept or to be ready by that time. And I'm like this, well, why not July? Because it's supposed to be in April, right? It's supposed to be in April. Then it's supposed to be in May. Now it's in June. Now I guess Eddie Hearn's cutting the deadline off at some point, right? Let's hit that like button. So when you guys come in, thank you guys for hitting the like button. The ones that just did, I can see. But for the rest of you guys, hit that like button that's in. When you come in, hit that like button. Lee Campbell, what's popping, my brother? Long time. Absolutely. I've been trying to get better with these lives. So I may go live every day this week. I'm going to try. But when I do, most of you guys that follow me are asleep. You're 6 hours ahead. You're in the future. I'm in the past. Right? Airzism, respect, Kurt, enough love. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Back at you. Colossus Combat, I'm surprised none of the big boxing outlets haven't reported Bashir with AJ. I think this is what happens with certain outlets. If you're referring to certain channels follow certain fighters. I noticed that. Like, you won't really see, like Blue Blood. He goes through a lot of, he's like more like the lightweight and the welterweight and the middleweight kind of guy. Whereas I try to, I'm more of a heavyweight guy because I'm a heavyweight. I sparred today, man. And it was some good stuff. I sparred 5 rounds. I got it in, but I'm a heavyweight. Okay. And I'm sparring a heavyweight and a cruiserweight. And I enjoy fighting the cruiserweight because he's a lot faster. Whereas the heavyweight is a lot heavier, but he's not as skillful. So, but I had fun, man. I had fun. My shoulders, I know they're normally going to be sore. If you ever start sparring, you're going to be prepared for your shoulders to be sore. All right. So, but no, I cover mostly heavyweight stuff. You know what I mean? And so I try to get all that out there and everything else that I feel. I read stuff all the time, but then I'm like, is that worth really sharing? So a lot of people look at it, okay, is it really worth sharing? Sometimes I do it for the hell of it, but then sometimes I'm like, you know what, why bother? You know, especially if it's already been covered over here. And I'm like, all right, I already read that and that's been too long ago. So let it fly because it doesn't apply. Bars. Let's see what we got. Nord Force. What's up, Kirk? Glad to be catching a live chat. Appreciate you, brother. I'm glad to be here myself. Didn't Igas Klimas refute that Usyk is fighting and contradicted Mike Coppinger? Bro lit the legend. Bro lit the legend. Listen, you are absolutely positively right. And I was going to do a video about that, but I might as well cover it here. I may still do one, but then like, yeah, I found that out last night. And I was like, okay. He's pissed that Mike Coppinger received information about Oleksandr Usyk and Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, here's the problem. He's half right. It wasn't Vasyl Lomachenko, as we know, because Vasyl decided to stay fighting, for his country, stay in the trenches or whatever. Whereas Oleksandr Usyk, according to this source, right? According to this source, has decided to leave. So you can't blame Mike Coppinger all the way through because it ain't like he just told a bald-faced lie. Because if Oleksandr Usyk goes to England, goes to over here to the States, Poland, or wherever he decides to go, that meant the source that Mike Coppinger received was accurate. Okay, or half accurate, because at least Oleksandr Usyk was going. Maybe it just wasn't Vasyl Lomachenko. Maybe Mike Coppinger added in there. Maybe that's what someone told Mike Coppinger. But you can't get pissed at Mike Coppinger. Let's hit that like button. I said to you ages ago when I saw Usyk bail you live, Usyk is special. I saw him totally dominate Joshua. It was embarrassing. Well, I mean, it wasn't embarrassing. Joshua had his moments in there. He just didn't win. See, here's the thing. If you were like sparring, okay, or any type of competitive sport, Oleksandr Usyk did what Oleksandr Usyk does. Anthony Joshua tried to do what Anthony Joshua does. The only difference was Oleksandr Usyk was better at doing what he does than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua came in there, okay, without a game plan. I'm quite certain. He didn't have a game plan. If you seen Joshua, he was in there trying to, he was trying to figure it out. And when you're trying to figure something out without an overall plan, let me catch him with a big shot. That's not a plan. That's something you hope to get done. You need a plan to execute what you're trying to do. So, no, he didn't have a plan. So let's look at it like this. Shit, doing what he did and didn't have a plan, he lucky he didn't get stopped. Right? So it is what it is. John Giel coming in with that $4.99 super chat. Think he donates purses to support war? I'm happy as a boxing fan. I'm not Ukrainian. How will his people look at this? Again, I'm just a fan. Let's do it. John, thank you for the super chat. I think Oleksandr Usyk is a guy that probably would donate all of his shit to the Ukraine, like a lot of people donate. You know what I mean? It's options to donate everywhere. I just see, me personally, I don't donate to foundations. What I do is I find somebody that I know that's from there and I could bless them, you know what I mean, in private. Not, hey, look what I did. No, I don't do that. But knowing him, he probably will. How will the people look at it, though? I think he's going to get mixed reviews. I think people are going to look at that. Some people are going to say, oh, you left your country to do something easier. But understand, boxing is deadly, too. It ain't like a bullet, but it's a fist. You are not gonna leave the same way you came out. You think Oleksandr Usyk came in there and he left the same way he came out when he fought Joshua the last time? No. Boxing is a brutal sport, if not the most brutal sport. Football is pretty, you know, durable. It's kind of it's brutal, but it's not like boxing. You're taking shots to the head, the face, the body, sometimes behind the head, kidney shots, the ball sack, right? The camel toe for women, right? Sometimes you get hit illegal. It happens. But those are the areas that you expect to get hit in. Okay. So, yeah, he's going to get mixed reviews. Definitely. Search for UFOS. Usyk choice easiest fight. Usyk has a chance to win versus AJ and not against Putin. Well, you might say that's pragmatic. You might say, you know what? And you got to look at it like this. If you're in a situation, and this is a saying Sue quote, okay, not mine. If you guys know about the art of war, if a fight can't be won, don't fight it. I don't know if he's using that analogy. I don't know. For what I do know and heard, their family's gone. They got their family, the safety, the wives and the kids and all that. They're not there. So that's the good thing. So I think Usyk knows in a peace of mind, like, look, I hate what's happening. It's some political bullshit, but what can I do? I got my family out. You know what I mean? And let me do what I do best. I'm just assuming. This man knows his stuff. Guys, hit the like button. Subscribe for the best boxing analysis on YouTube. Tricky Brickies. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Glad to see you at a civilized time. Top channel, buddy. Look, XK, shots. Look, I try, man. I try to get in. That's why I was like, look, I can't go no further than 5. Because I know people are going to be asleep by my time, 6 o'clock. That's midnight in the UK. Kenzo of Kurt, I greet you, a big fan. Thank you, Kenzo of London Walks. He sold out his country for money. Well, London Walks, not necessarily. Let me counterpunch you, London Walks. Okay, let me do a little walking and talking. If he donates his purse to the Ukraine, how did he sell them out? What is America doing? Are we over there with, I think we got some soldiers over there now. But what did Biden do first? Biden sent money over. Okay? So, look, I mean, a lot of times your support is your support. Hell, it ain't like he didn't enlist. It would be different if he never enlisted or he stayed in England. Usyk could have done that. London Walks. He could have stayed in England if he wanted to. That's easier. He didn't do the easiest thing. He got his ass back, got his family out, picked up a rifle and said, let's go. But things are getting political, and on political platforms, you have to go for what you know. And what does he know? He knows boxing. So counterpunch. I am sure Usyk will want to win for Ukraine. I'm sure he will too. Big up from Trinidad and Tobago. Is that Mehul Maharaj? Counterpunch to you from Trinidad and Tobago. Merle Dixon, what up, Kurt? Just got back from Fort Lauderdale for spring break. Hopefully you had a great spring break. It was cool. I'm alive. Tricky Brickies, do you do Streamlab? Kurt, I'd love to talk boxing with you from a UK point, if lovely fellow YouTuber. Tricky Brickies, you're talking about is it StreamYard, you mean? I do StreamYard, not Streamlab. So, yeah, we could do that, man. Hit me up on Instagram. Usyk was always free to leave. Okay, well, there you go. If he was always free to leave. Chick, what's up, brother? Yo, Kurt, I only spat verbally. Usyk is a trained boxer. Dion W. Damn, I finally caught you live, bro. never got notified anymore, hit that like, peeps. Listen, appreciate the super chat for bringing in that duh. But anyway, Dion, appreciate the love, man. Let me tell you something. YouTube does what it wants to do. That's all I can tell you. That's why I tell you, I want to believe, I want to say, hit the like button, because if you hit the like button, that may boost certain, it changes certain more formats to the annual, was it, what do you call the shit? It may wake YouTube up, in other words. Algorithms, that's what I'm looking for. So that may do that, So I want to say that if you hit the like button, it helps. So we got 62 likes. Let's get 100 likes. Usyk's going to take his frustrations out on Joshua. More of a killer now. Poor Josh going to get smashed quick. Father Jack, that could happen. That could happen. I always look at both sides. Usyk could come out there angry. He could come out there angry. And let me compare this to something that I can relate to. Something that already happened. I remember when Manny Pacquiao fought Timothy Bradley for the first time back in 2012. And they gave the decision to Timothy Bradley, right? Timothy Bradley beat Manny Pacquiao according to the scorecards. Manny Pacquiao was like, you know what? I'm not fighting Timothy Bradley no more. I think I beat Timothy Bradley. I'm moving on. Well, what did he do? Of course, there were Mayweather. He went and opted to fight Juan Manuel Marquez again. And he went in that fight mad, aggressive, chip on his shoulder. Had one hell of a fight. 6-round brawl with Juan Manuel Marquez. This was the first time Marquez dropped him in the 3rd round. He dropped Marquez in the 5th round. Marquez KO'd him in the 6th round. 2 minutes and 59 seconds in the 6th round. December 8th, 2012. Okay? But it was because Manny Pacquiao was so aggressive and he was so eager to prove a point due to the fact that they robbed him against Timothy Bradley in the first fight. He couldn't get the Mayweather fight because Mayweather was wanting him to do USADA, which USADA is a Olympic-style drug testing, and VADA is the actual professional drug testing. So it was a lot of things I think that was dealing with Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao is just a greater guy than Usyk is. Southpaw, great, right? And he got knocked out for it. So I'm saying this to say this. Saying all that to say this. Usyk, if he's too eager to do certain things and he does things out of anger, he may put himself in a situation to become like Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so what you're saying is it's not always a smart thing to fight fire with fire, because I'm believing that Joshua is not going to fight fire with water. He's going to fight fire with fire. He's going to be the fire. And a lot of times you got to fight fire with finesse, because if you don't, you could end up getting caught with something, or you could end up getting burned, right? Usyk is a trained boxer, which is not much use in a war zone with tanks and rockets and launches. Well, that's being that's being practical. A lot of people don't care about practical. They care about what's my man? God bless the dead. What's his name? Tillman. Remember Tillman, the football player that went over I think he was in Afghanistan, right, or Iran, and was killed. But he was a better football player than he probably was a soldier. Not saying you can't be a good soldier and die. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I think it's ways to fight certain things in certain ways instead of actually fighting. The art of fighting without fighting. There's certain ways to fight. you know. Um, hey, Kurt from India here. Dr. Nirmal Raj. I think AJ is going to face a super motivated Usyk who would be waiting to dedicate a victory to his war-torn country. Bad news for AJ. What do you think? Well, it could happen. It could happen. Nirmal, it could happen. Like, this is also what I think about people. I think about Usyk and what he said when they asked him, well, do you think AJ can fight another way? This is how Usyk responded. He said, I can fight another way too. Then he says, later on, a couple days later, he says, you know what? Why is everybody wanting me to kill and do this and do that and, hurt someone? This is a boxing match. I wasn't trying to knock out Anthony Joshua. I wasn't trying to knock out Anthony Joshua. So I was like, oh, shit. If he wasn't trying to knock out Anthony Joshua, I would hate to see him try to knock out Anthony Joshua. Because I keep thinking about the 12th round when he kept hitting and he kept throwing because Joshua wasn't throwing. Joshua was trying to elude, but he was unsuccessfully eluding the punches. And Usyk successfully kept throwing and landing the punches. So he was catching AJ. He was boot, 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 boot. And I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? He would not stop. And I doubt Usyk was tired. I think he just kind of slowed down. Because by that time, AJ was already on the ropes. And I've always said this about AJ. When AJ gets on the ropes, he's like a deer in headlights. If you want to pressure AJ, throw vicious shots at him. Don't let him get on his back foot because he might fucking counter you. But if you can get him with his guard up and against the ropes, you got him. Hit that like button, guys. We got almost 200 people in here, and we need 200 likes. Let's go. Kurt, does Usyk have enough time to get ready for June? Yes. Well, I don't know because he does train extensively for a very long time. He does. But look, it's the end of March. You have April, all of May, and then you have June. It depends on when in June. When in June are they going to fight? June 13th, somewhere on the weekend, Saturday, right? So that's 2 full months. That's 8 weeks. Plus this week, that's if he starts. I don't know if he wants to just start training right away. I don't know. It depends on how he feels. He may be jet lagged, depending on where he's going from the Ukraine. God willing, if he gets out of there, you know what I mean? Because he's like, he's planning to leave, but like Russia's shooting missiles and shit. Okay, it would probably be best to like drive to another country than fly out of that country away from missiles and have a safe airspace. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's a good question. Good question, Bill. Usyk was always free to leave. Carpenter tried to spin it like it was new news. Gotcha. Tricky brickies. Boxing best analyst, Counterpunch Boxing. Thank you, man. Counterpunch Boxing News. We have a Counterpunch Boxing. If AJ beats Usyk, the reason for why Usyk didn't win on that night would feel valid, do you think, considering the invasion? Well, Adam, honestly, that would be the only reason, like I was talking about last night, that I wouldn't want Usyk to fight AJ. Because, see, if AJ beats Usyk, people, and then I'm going to tell you the people that hate AJ, the haters of Anthony Joshua, what they would do is the first thing they would say, man, you and your promoter forced the man out of his country, of defending his country, and made him fight because you have a bullshit contractual agreement set up. And you probably tried to spin it and pressure this man like, hey, you have until June to be ready to fight us or we're fighting someone else. So look, I know that's bullshit, but it's amazing how people can spin it. And when people do it, and that it will come. If AJ beats Usyk, That will be spent. It doesn't matter if Usyk says anything or not. The people that hate Anthony Joshua are going to do that firsthand. They're going to say AJ and Eddie Hearn forced Usyk out of his country to take a fight that he wasn't ready for. It's Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran all over again. Counterpunch. Art Sanson with that glove. Usyk done the wise decision, earn big money, fight in London, and not fight Russian soldiers armed with AK-47s. Josh will lose again. Tricky Brickies. Bojka, Croatian pride worldwide. Bars. Let's see, what do we got here? Tricky Bricky's coming in with that $5 duck. I'm sorry, £5. Forgive me. That's not $1. I'll buy that for £1. You guys remember RoboCop? Let's see. Since AJ battered and beat AJ has been too scared of getting hit. So he has tried to box safely. Usyk with the KO this time. Late 9 through the 11th round. Jacobin, I don't think that really matters at this point because it didn't matter if AJ wanted to get hit or not. Shit, Oscar De La Hoya didn't want to get hit. You know, he was the pretty boy. Let's get those likes up. We got 200 people in here. Let's hit that like button. And listen, it didn't matter if he didn't want to get hit. He was getting hit. Look at Joshua's face. Usyk tattooed Joshua. I think Joshua was trying to be too smart because he was trying to box, which was a dumb idea, fighting a guy with the boxing IQ of Usyk and the way he moves and everything else. He was like a mongoose fighting a damn badger, and the badger got tired, man. Doesn't mind losing because it's all about the experimentation for AJ. Jack Burton. I don't know. I mean, AJ looks at shit like that anyway. Now, and I don't think AJ really looks at losing like a bad thing no more. Like he's almost like, hey, it was a great experience. You know, I learned a lot. Now don't say he's just happy to lose. I think, you know, because you do see that side of AJ. Again, in certain interviews, he was just like, hey, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, yo, AJ, hey, take it easy, Mr. Endorsee. What about your endorsements? You know, I don't think they would want that. Gentleman's game. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Where you been at? I feel sorry for an AJ. Nobody wants Usyk to lose his titles. The Ukrainians have already lost too much. The fight needs putting off. The war is over. It's wrong. Well, David Fox, I can see where you are coming from, but you can't do anything about war. So it's like this. What are you really going to do about it? Are you going to stop the whole world like COVID did? No, because it's not really affecting the whole world per se. You know, not in terms of people doing their everyday life, making money for themselves. No, certain aspects, but not everywhere. So no, that's not going to happen. Kurt Ladd, Marcy D, Counterpunch. AJ needs to go back to basics and put it on Usyk early. Only way he wins. Well, Shane McHenry, he goes out there throwing shots that he doesn't land. He's going to get tired, and then he will be destroyed. Because I've seen AJ tired. I've seen AJ winded. I've seen AJ gassed. I've seen him with nothing to offer, and he doesn't have anything to offer. He was like me in the fifth, well, probably in the third round, because I sparred two guys today. So what we would do, I would spar one guy, then I would spar the other guy, and then I would take a break and referee, and then those guys will fight each other. Then one more guy will fight two, and then the other guy will fight 2 times. So we all get 5 times. Well, by that second round, I was gassed, you know, and AJ, if he gets gassed out there with all the muscles, with all that weight to carry around, with all that unnatural weight to carry around, that added weight that he put on by muscles, muscle weighs more than fat. So he's coming all solid and thick and shit like that. And he throws and he doesn't get the job done. And Usyk's strong chin, strong willed ass is still there. He's in trouble. He is in trouble. He's in trouble. So everybody's like, hey, man, Joshua needs to go out there and take it to him. I mean, that seems logical because, like, the last shit didn't help, but I think he needs to pick his spots. I really do. It makes me laugh that haters will say AJ forced Usyk to fight. Usyk is the champ. No one can force Usyk to do anything. Terry Bromley, exactly. Counterpunch to you, Terry. You guys hear Terry? You can't force Usyk to do something he didn't want to do. He could have stayed in Usyk. He could have stayed in the Ukraine for fucking 2 years if he wanted to. I mean, they probably would have found a way to strip him, but still. That is a lot different. Stripping Usyk in war versus stripping Tyson Fury for doing fucking coke. They will not look at that the same. Can I get a like for that one? Can I get a like for that? Somebody hit the like button. Thank you. Because listen, if they strip Usyk and Usyk says, look, fuck that. I'm busy defending my country right now. I got family in the place that they're bombing right now. My mind's on them. Fuck you and your contracts. Go away. Money doesn't matter. Nothing matters besides me controlling what I have, because without my land, I don't have anything. Go away. He could have done that easily. That's what I thought he was going to do. Right? And then honestly, we don't really know if he's going to do it until we see him like in Michigan or Chicago, where a lot of Ukrainians, a lot of Russians there too, but a lot of Ukrainians there. You know what I mean? And like, I'm like, look, I don't believe until I see it. All I can do is report the news and report what's going on. So that's all I can really do. Right? But in the grand scheme of things, he could have took that stance, and what would somebody say? Okay. Joshua, you got to fight somebody else. Ortiz, Joyce, Wilder, maybe, if he wants to, after his ayahuasca experimentation or whatever. So you can do that. But you can't make Usyk do shit. You can strip them bullshit belts. You can do that. But then what happens when he comes back and starts kicking ass again? What is somebody going to say? Oh, well, that's actually the real champion. Why? Because he wanted to stay in war instead of leave war. You know? And nobody can really say anything. What are you going to say? Man, you decided to fight instead of fighting your belts. Nobody would care, man. In fact, everybody would side Usyk. Like Usyk would say, hey, I didn't need the belt. Something was much more important. Who's with me? Everybody will be raising their hand, man. Terry Tibbs, you don't care, bro. Your name Terry, bro. Clearly, you wouldn't care. Okay. AJ has to have a defense that's calm and controlled when he's in close. Well, he needs to go to that body. That's all I can tell you. That's more mobile than hitting fucking Usyk, you know. AJ said he hopes the fans were happy with the performance he put on. He was grateful for the schooling he got. I don't know if he was grateful. I think he respected it. You know what I mean? And I think he's content with knowing that, hey, I fought one of the best fighters in the world tonight. I mean, what can you say? Nobody else can say that shit. The only people that can say that is who? Anthony Joshua himself, Derek Chisora, Witherspoon, and Tony Bellew, and along with some bunch of cruiserweights. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else has done that. Not Wilder, not Fury, not White. Joyce has. He beat the shit out of Joyce. Right? He boxed Joyce. So, yeah, Joyce knows. So that's Joshua, Joyce, Bellew, Chisora, Witherspoon. So, yeah, I mean, how are you? You've seen a guy smaller, coming from a smaller weight class, doing what he did in a heavier weight class, rocking Joshua a couple times, schooling Joshua, outpointing Joshua, out hustling Joshua, showing him, and he's doing it by pure grit, gas tank, determination, and overall skill. I mean, how can Joshua be pissed off about that? You know, I mean, nobody else did that shit. Fury didn't do it. None of those guys did that. So if Joshua gets beat again by Usyk, nobody will give a shit about Joshua getting beat, and they won't give him any slack. They're gonna trash him. They go, oh man, he was a blown up bodybuilder. He's this and that. You're gonna say some Tyson Fury like derogatory Anthony Joshua shit. You're gonna say it, and people are gonna go with it. They're gonna ride with it until Usyk does that shit to somebody else. He goes and beats the shit out of Tyson Fury. Oh my God, he's the best thing ever. No, motherfucker, he was always the best thing ever. He just had to show you that he was. Now you guys get the point. Shit, he beat Joshua and Fury. How the fuck how did he do that? You know? DSG, word up from Canary Islands. God bless you, brother. DSG. Patty Man 1991. Usyk's going to smoke AJ again. AJ said he hopes. Okay, you already got that one. That's why he's not throwing them bombs. Well, I mean, if you throw them bombs, you better sure hope you hit something with those bombs, because it ain't like nothing throwing a punch. And I can tell you this: throwing a punch, people, and you don't. And I would rather throw a punch and hit something, elbow, chest, stomach, somewhere, than swing and miss the person altogether. That's going to take more energy out of you than ever before. Usyk is military trained. He would have done national service. Okay, I don't know what happened. I think people are badly underestimating AJ. Well, Vizzy destroyed and shit like that. Yeah, they have to be. They have to. Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on. All right. With my live stream. But I don't know, I got throttled or some shit. It was an even fight against Bellew. Well, I think that Bellew, I think he shot his wad. And Bellew did a lot of angles, but I think he ran out of gas. Yeah, it froze, Ryan. I don't know what happened. It just started spinning and shit. Like, so I turned off other devices, which I don't really think that was the thing. I have some of the fastest internet, so I don't know. You know, cable. What do you say? Honestly, can't see anyone beating Usyk at this time. His work rate, skill sets are just too high. Another all-time great to retire undefeated and hopefully unified, peace and love. Well, hopefully undisputed. He's already unified. But yeah, all-time great. He could go down at all-time great. Let him beat Tyson Fury, because he's already done this shit at cruiserweight. He's already become the undisputed cruiserweight champion. And he's did that under 20 fights. Then he just took all the belts from Joshua, because, you know, Joshua bust his ass to keep them, right? AJ will freeze just like your internet. Patty Man 91, man, you ain't right. AJ in his pro debut would have beat Usyk. No, he wouldn't have. He would have been faster, but no, he was still too tentative. You know, he was faster, because AJ's look. Listen, you guys know, what is it? Lawrence Akali. AJ's a little bigger than Lawrence Akali naturally. Lawrence Akali's a slender, taller guy. That's AJ. AJ just packed on that weight because I think maybe he didn't like his physique. You know what I mean? I think that weight building and weightlifting and the way he looks is a personal preference. You know what I mean? I think that bothers him. AJ has all the tools, but in his mind, is unless but his mind useless unless he changes. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I think Usyk has good pop. Also, that's for sure. AJ was more shocked at times when he was getting cracked by Usyk. Like, damn, he hits a lot harder than I thought. Well, Nuke won up games. Let me tell you something. Floyd Mayweather has the same type of punch. If Floyd hits you with a precise punch, it will stun you, and you will think to yourself like, "Whoa, that's a pretty good punch." Now, does it have knockout on it? No, it don't have knockout on it. But what it does have is it has surprise, it has sting, it has respect. Let's hit that like button. After the freeze, a lot of people just dropped off. It's like people just fall off. Ah! You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. I disagree, Kurt. AJ posted a flashback pic at 18. Homie was about 230 then. I don't think so. I don't think he was 230, bro. I think he was about maybe 205. Hold on. Let's look see. Let's look see. Because I don't think he was 230. Because shit, because he was like 243 last time, right? Now I know you naturally supposed to fill in, but I don't know. I mean, I think he just packed on the muscle. I don't think he was that heavy. You have to understand, when did AJ start fighting? It's true, you shouldn't fight with emotion and anger. Trying to move away, just lean in and once feel him out like a man. Smith and West. He started when he was 18, right? I doubt that motherfucker was 230 then. I doubt that. I don't see him 230 then. Even though that's not a good picture. Let me try to find a better picture of his actual physique. Well, that's him young in his thugging days with his little gold chain and shit. I don't think he was 230 then, bro. I don't think he was. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was that. He doesn't look that heavy. Usyk was heading into the fight looking to become an all-time great. Joshua was facing another mandatory. I don't think Joshua overlooked him, but he did overlook how Usyk was going to head in for the fight. Luis Blancos. Luis Blancos. I think Usyk definitely was more focused on AJ than AJ was Usyk. Now, I think AJ respected him, but I don't think he knew exactly what level he was dealing with. He knew he was at a high level, but he didn't know it was high enough to beat him. That's what I think. Yeah, I know he was good, but I didn't think he was that good, motherfucker. This guy fucking hit me. You know, I countered and I was taking a picture, and all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere. And see what Usyk did, he just didn't get hit and then run off. He got hit and countered. Like, okay, you hit me. Let me give you two. Nuke, I'm just saying Usyk isn't as good as people think. Well, I think this is what should happen. I think people should start fighting Usyk, but the only way Usyk is going to start getting those fights unless he beats this guy that's in front of him, Anthony Joshua. Now, will that be an easy task? Not necessarily, because he has to complete it first. It's a puzzle, and Usyk's a puzzle. Usyk's a chess player. So is Terrence Crawford. One of the most provocative pictures I thought was very interesting. Usyk and Crawford, right? These guys were sitting here playing chess, right? That's Usyk and that's Crawford, some of the best fighters that we have fighting right now. Pound for pound, best fighters. What are they doing? They're playing chess, not checkers, not fucking Uno, right? Chess. So it's a thinking thing. When you think, it's hell to beat someone that's focused. That's the only thing. Knock him out. Scramble scramble that computer. Usyk cannot fight on his back foot. Well, I think that's where the toughness comes in. But AJ, AJ has to get inside and rip some shots. Usyk is the best I've seen. He hits and doesn't get hit. He is undisputed in his own 8 category and unified in the heavyweight. How can you say he's not good? No, he's saying he's not as good as you think he is. So basically, London Walks he's just hating on Usyk. He's not as good as you think he is. He's not that good. You know what I mean? Like, yo, he's fucking good. 19 fights. He's freaking pretty good. Kurt, people forgot Usyk changed trainers for AJ. Let that sink in. Kurt, based on Ruiz last performance and Ortiz last performance, who wins? I don't know. Gentleman's game. That's a very good question because they were both shit. They were both trash. And I think those guys should fight right now. And look, Andy Ruiz he needs to stop fucking around. And I think what he's doing is Andy Ruiz is taking the easy route by taking a Chisora fight or entertaining it. And this is what I think Andy's going to do. Because I don't have faith in Andy no more. I did. But after the shit he pulled in a year he just scratched, I don't have the faith in Andy Ruiz no more. I think he made too much money in them 2 fights. And because of that, since he's not broke, he's not hungry. He might be hungry for food, but he's not hungry for legacy. You know what I mean? So we know what motivated Ruiz. What motivated Ruiz was money and a little fame that he got from making the money from those 2 checks that he received from Matchroom. Okay? So I think that's his motivation. I don't think that's anything else that drives Andy. And the only thing that's really pushing Andy Ruiz right now is Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. And Canelo set fire up under his ass when he started saying, you know what, Andy ain't came neither. And then when Andy heard that shit, he was, oh, Canelo's talking. Let me put the Snickers down. I'm tired. I have to go back there because if I don't, they'll keep talking about me. Oscar left. He left. He was doing drugs anyways. Not Oscar. Oscar didn't leave. Ryan left. He was just high. Maybe he didn't have a mental breakdown. He was high. He was doing coke with Oscar De La Hoya. De veras, sí? Yeah. He was doing coke. Allegedly. You didn't hear that from me, baby. Keep that under your hat. Shit. You know what I mean? Like, no. So Andy, and I'm going to tell you what Andy's doing. And if this happens, don't say I didn't tell you so. That's why I'm saying it now. Andy is entertaining the Derek Chisora fight, and he's asking for more money. Meanwhile, while Luis Ortiz sits around waiting for a fight, he's going to wait till Luis Ortiz gets a fight. Then he's going to turn down the Derek Chisora fight just so he can avoid Luis Ortiz. I'm not ready for him. He's kind of mean. I seen him hit Charles, and it kind of scared me. I don't want to get hit by his old ass because I want to make my money. I want to fight Anthony. That's why I'm going for him. I don't care about Usyk. I don't want to fight him either. He's tricky. I want more money from Eddie. He's trying to give me bullshit money. I don't want $1 million. I want $5 million, motherfucker. What is fucking Chisora gonna get? What he's gonna make for that money? And you know Chisora's a fucking bully. I want more money, man. If you don't give me more money, I'm not gonna fight. That's it. And he comes over here. He's not selling anything. I want money, man. I'm the money man. Right? He's at home eating tacos. Shit. But honestly, I would too. If I was Andy, man, I'm gonna be real. If I was Andy and I made that money from I wouldn't have went out like that in the second fight. But then again, fuck, he had got money. Andy didn't have money, people. I'm not shitting on Andy Ruiz. I impersonate him and all that shit. That's just fun and games. But Andy Ruiz did not have money. He got that shit. He earned it. God blessed him. And he thanked God and thank God for everything. And he went home and fucking partied. We're going to party. Let's have another baby. Then I'm going to get your shit fine and fixed. Don't worry. I'm going to buy my mom a house, my cousin, you, your boyfriend. He went home. Man, listen. Andy Ruiz went home. He had a parade and shit. I'm going to get fucked up. You know, and then when you had like guys like Leonard Ellerbe start popping up out of the blue. Here's Leonard Ellerbe. Hey, Andy, don't take the money that Andy's saying. Fuck Andy. Andy, get more money. I want more money. That's a good idea. Leonard told me to get more money, him and Al Heyman. So he got more money. So not only did he get, because he got what, $5, $6, $7 million? Andy went home with M's. He ain't never went home with no fucking M's. It's different when you have millions in the bank. Andy's a fat guy already. What you think's gonna happen? Come on, man. I mean, look, Andy was broke, man. Do you guys understand? I talked to Manny Robles, and I hate that I didn't get the interview with Manny, but I have a couple interviews on the way. I got Darnell Boone. I have James Kirkland. So when I get back to Austin, I'm going to interview James Kirkland, just letting you guys know, so he can tell us about the Canelos and the Tapia fights and his and his struggle with Ann Wolfe. It's gonna be fucking fire. So I'm letting you guys know that's coming soon. But it's like Manny said, Andy stayed in my house. That motherfucker couldn't. He was pretty much kind of homeless. I don't know where his wife and kids were. They were probably at their mom's house and the kids chilling. You know what I mean? And like Manny, that's why I didn't like what Andy did with Manny. I was fucked up. Because it wasn't like, Triple G and Abel Sanchez like over money. And that's foul. But, that's business like. He just fired him because like you lost. Because you didn't bring your ass to camp, to train. Manny was like, I've been waiting for it the whole time. And he's trying. And then what Manny was doing, Manny was covering for his ass. He was out partying. Give me that tequila. This is Casamigos. This is the best. Logan, Logan, Jake, Sushi. Come on, man. He wasn't used to none of that shit. Hanging around the Logans and shit. He wasn't used to that. So yeah, it went to his head. And I think Andy Ruiz needed rehab from the success that he received. But between him, to answer the question, the initial question, I think Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz, and what's sad, he gonna wait fucking Luis out until Luis is 43 now, bro. He's 43 years old. Matter of fact, wait. No, he ain't. He's still 42 because his birthday is on the 28th. Wait a minute. Let's see. Luis Ortiz's birthday is in March. So it is his birthday is in, no, that's some other fucking Ortiz. Oh, there we go. March 29th. So he's still 42. 6 days from now, he'll be 43 years old. And Andy Ruiz still ain't going to fight him. No, the older he gets, the danger is more. You don't want the fight. Al, let me fight someone else. Great. Put your ass in there with Robert Helenius. No, I don't want that fight. Legend of Arkansas. Arkansas in this piece. Andy needs to retire. I mean, you know what? I think he wants another payday. Terry Brumley, welcome to Counterpunch Gold. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome. Go to the community. I got all types of special stuff there. Check it out. Footage, interviews, only for the Counterpunch community. Okay, so yeah, welcome, brother. Glad to see you come aboard. Fury came in nearly 300 pounds for the Wilder fight. Why didn't Wilder go to his body enough? You think Fury will come in at 300 for White? Gentleman's game. The question is, why didn't Wilder fucking do more leg work? When you hear someone coming in fat, you know, okay, let me train my legs more because I'm going to need them more than upper body fucking lifting weights. That ain't going to help him. And it didn't. And I don't know if he'll come in at 300. I really don't know. I don't know if it might be mind games, but if he does, it's going to make him slower, and it's going to make that fight that much more interesting. Because he's going to be slower. And then White is coming to fight. White ain't coming to fuck around. White ain't caring about all that shit talk. I mean, he's like, you know what? I got the fight. Fuck you. Fuck everybody else. I'm going to fight this guy, and I will be there. Now, if he doesn't show up, that's a totally different story. That would be shit. Mauricio Suleiman, Lund, fuck you. You know? Fury came in. Okay, we got that one. AJ never beat a top fighter again. He is unfocused and scared they will not put him with Joyce. He will fight 53 years old Ortiz, mark my words. Well, Barry B, let's look at it like this. There was once upon a time the guy that you want him to fight, Joe Joyce, also refused and ducked Luis Ortiz. That was back in 19. Joe Joyce was up and coming, even though Joe Joyce is fucking 36 years old. I think he's 36, almost 37, bro. People forget about that. I mean, I don't care. Oh, he's a young. No, he's still fucking old. He's 36 years old. And he had an opportunity to fight Luis Ortiz, and Luis Ortiz told him, I'll fight you. You're going to lose that O. And you know what Abel did? No, I'm not putting Joe Joyce up against Luis Ortiz. So that fight never happened. And Joe Joyce never disputed any of what Abel recommended. See, Abel Sanchez and Freddie Roach, they have some weird kind of claims over their fighters, if you notice. Like, they have some weird kind of dominance and power, you know? I didn't think Abel was a fucking manager. I didn't think Freddie Roach was a manager either. They're just trainers. See, Eddie Reynoso is the manager of Canelo. So, yeah, he can say, no, he's not fighting Usyk. And that wouldn't make sense because he's also a manager. That's why Eddie Hearn has to get with Eddie Reynoso and then Eddie Reynoso with Canelo. Okay, because he has a dual job with Canelo. He's a trainer, but he's also a manager. So he's in charge of other stuff, paperwork and decision-making and those type of things. But Abel Sanchez and Freddie Roach are not managers of anything. They manage to coach their ass, but they ain't managers, okay? Helenius and Ruiz would be a good fight. Yeah, it would be. You know what? I got my money on Helenius. He's been more. He took out a guy around the same height. Matter of fact, or Ruiz is a little shorter, because I mean he fucked Kaunaki up twice. I mean that kind of like he would hit Kaunaki and Kauniki's whole face would jiggle like jello. I'm like, ugh. Like, stop it, dude. That's not even, that looks unhealthy. I mean, he would hit him flush, dude. And the Nordic Nightmare is a nightmare to people that's short. Because fortunately for Hellenius knows how to punch and stay tall. So he knows how to use that range. That straight left and that right it's a beast. Adam, ask Adam. Funny, Adam was the first to get that ass beat like that. He took his first ass beating. The Legend of Arkansas. I know he wants to buy another taco truck or two, but damn, I don't see him messing with Areola again. Areola's did his thing. Silver medalist. He's a silver medalist. He's done his thing in the sport. He's fought shit. I mean, he's fought Bermain Stavern, Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz, Bermain Stavern again, Vitaly Klitschko. That was early on when he started crying and shit. You know what I mean? Because he was the silver Olympic medalist, and he was like he wanted to be the first Mexican heavyweight champion. That was one of his goals. He didn't make it, but that was one of his goals. He's like Jesse Jackson as opposed. He's Jesse Jackson, and Andy Ruiz is Barack Obama, right? You know what I mean? You see Jesse crying and shit, right? Looking at Obama's ass, right? But no, Chris Arreola was that in retrospect. I mean, he didn't achieve that, but he's done his thing. But what he do? He dropped the guy that became the first Mexican-American champion. You know what I mean? He made his stamp. He didn't go out there and get the shit beat out of him. No, he dropped that motherfucker and he hurt him again in the third round. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm Chris Arreola, I should be feeling pretty about my career because I fought the best, some of the best in different eras because Chris Arreola been fighting a long time. He's been fighting before them other cats. So, yeah, you get Chris Arreola. Look, if I'm Chris Arreola, I'll be sitting cussing like he knows how to do. Chris Arreola's a dirty, foul-mouthed cat. Fuck you, you always got something my dick. I'm like, dude, wow. Take it easy, Take it easy. I want to see White Wilder. Well, you may see White Wilder if White can knock out Tyson Fury. That's all he has to do. Barry B, who as the supposed to heavyweights AJ can't beat? Good question. That third fight was a classic, though. Holy shit balls. Yeah, it was. Slim Searly. Kurt, do you think Fury will fight Joshua if he beats Usyk in the rematch? Well, if Joshua beats Usyk, and this is where boxing gets shitty. And now, if Joshua beats Usyk, I doubt he'll fight him a third time, right? And then the question would be, who would want to fight Usyk at that point? Nobody. And see, it'll go back to the same shit. Because, see, Usyk's not like Ruiz. You know what I mean? I think, Usyk is a guy, like, he's a winner. And he finds a way to win. And if Joshua happens to beat him, well, and Fury beats White, if Fury retires, that meant Fury had no intention of fighting Joshua. People are going to look at him, oh, you ducked him. Both of you motherfuckers win and you retire? Unless Tyson Fury retired for a reason. You got to think about it now. Like, let's be real. What did Tyson Fury do after he beat Vladimir Klitschko? He started getting drunk and doing coke. Maybe Tyson Fury, you talk about mental illness, but maybe, just maybe, he might have just had a substance abuse problem like a lot of fucking people did, like Oscar De La Hoya, Arturo Gatti, Pernell Whitaker, David Benavidez. A lot of these guys, man, had, Roberto Duran, Johnny Tapia, Edwin Valero. I mean, a lot of these guys, people, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and fucking Jr. Let's be real now. Like maybe he just got a part of the spotlight and start doing shit he had no business doing. And that's a stronghold. You start doing that type shit, it's kind of hard, especially if you got millions of dollars in the bank. You know, mental illness is, well, fuck. Substance abuse is a mental illness. See, it's easy to say, I got a mental illness. Motherfucker, what kind? Be specific with that. I got a mental illness too. I'm dyslexic. Okay, that's a mental illness. But am I smoking crack? No. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's substance abuse. That is in the guidelines or in the ballpark, in the category of mental illness. Because it's something in your brain that's causing you to do something that affects the way your mind and body works, to affect you to do something to hurt yourself. Counterpunch. You know, AJ has to bring in a psychologist specialized in anxiety problems. Okay, anxiety is another fucking thing. I mean, we all have it, but like when I don't believe anymore, and I'm going to say this to everybody, all 190 of you, I don't and will not believe, all right, the next motherfucker that says, hey, I have mental illness. I won't believe it until you, okay, what type? Because mental illness, you don't go somewhere and say, oh, well, and people diagnose it, oh, well, you have mental illness. That is not what the fuck, that's like a loose way of saying, hey, I had stomach problems. Right? Oh, I had something wrong with my stomach. Okay, what? You know, gas, Crohn's disease. You know what I mean? What did you have? Like something's wrong with you. What was going on with you? No, I don't no. What should be White's strategy to beat Fury? Go to the body, break the body down, work, stay behind the jab, watch out for counters, stay from the outside, try to keep it a mid-range fight. You know, I like look for the hook. Smart move by Abel Albuga. Well, you know, it could be, it could have been, but he didn't want him fighting Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz has been, you know, Luis Ortiz had a shit company. I think he would just sabotage. Poor bastard. You know, I would take Helenius too. Yeah, Helenius looks like the guy. Joyce ain't beating AJ. Vizio W. It's just been confirmed on Sky Sports that Usyk resumed his training camp. Okay, his training camp where though? Where the hell is he? Before fighting Fury, nobody even knew Wileen existed. That's true. Wileen was another guy that was used as a sparring partner, a big heavyweight to help with other fighters, get prepared for other fights. That was Otto Wileen. His career was no. Okay, let's do this. Fuck it. You know, I don't have all that technical stuff. I'm not on my laptop, but this is what I am going to do. Otto Wileen. All right. So let's look at his resume before Tyson Fury. Who did he fight? Now, I'm going to name some names. Have anybody ever heard of Roman Cherny? He's from Kazakhstan. Valeri Semikor. No. Gabor Farkas. Tomas Marazic. Ferenc Saulik. Ladislav Kovarik. Has anybody ever heard of these? Marksum Pedura. Jakoslav Bajic. Ivica Perkovic. Has anybody ever heard of these guys? David Genjisije. Becca Labjandize. Oleksandr Mazkin. He's a Ukrainian. Vladimir Goncharov. Samir Kurtajic. Enru Bichu Costa Jr., Brazilian. Osborne Machimana. Has anybody ever heard of these guys? Rafael Zumbano. Gianluca Mandras, Mexico. Sirdan Govidarica. Adrian Granite. Nick Kistner. Anybody ever heard of these? They all work at McDonald's. Now we have Tyson Fury. So, see, here's the thing. And Nick Kistner was he was American, but that was a no contest. I mean, and besides that, Travis Kosman, Dominic Brazil, and Kamil Sokolowski, which I don't know who he is either. I don't think he was robbed. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. Check Waleen's amateur fights. He lost to Anthony Joshua. Okay. Okay. He won the bronze medal at the Swedish Youth National Championships in the heavyweight division and won the Ruska tournament in the super heavyweight division in 2010, while he won silver at the Swedish National Championship and the silver at the Haringey Box Cup, losing to Anthony Joshua on points in the final. He also won silver at the 2010 Ruska tournament. Okay. That's Otto Wallin. Wallin Ortiz. Why not? Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see what Ortiz can do with another southpaw. And then I think it's a deal where you're looking at an older, more skillful southpaw versus a fresher, younger southpaw. Ortiz has him by 12 years. Look, he's 31, bro. He's 31 years old. Damn near 13 years. Well, almost 12, 11 years. Mihai Nestor stopped Wallin and AJ in the amateurs. Okay. What do you think about Belanga's decision last weekend? Michael Fuller. I think he's just overrated. I think he's another Jeff Lacey, and I think with his attitude, he's not going to learn anything. He has that Deontay Wilder, I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the world, but I don't want to learn shit type attitude. And somebody's going to beat the shit out of him, and I can't wait for it to happen. See, I really don't have a lot of tolerance for arrogance. See, I know the difference. Arrogance versus confidence. Confidence is something that you believe you can do with this and that. Arrogance is something that you think you can do and you don't need this and that. You don't need anything because you are just better all by your fucking self that you can overcome stuff. This guy didn't work behind his jab. He looked for one punch at a time. He didn't use the ring. Steve Rose did. The only thing is Steve Rose would have had a punching chance, which I don't think he did because his punching power was very limited. Being on top of a motherfucker my age, like fucking late 30s, 37 years old, Look, man, look, let me tell you something. You went fucking 12 rounds with a 37-year-old man that can't punch. But I mean, he punched hard enough to keep him honest because look at Belanga's face. It wasn't like he was not in a fight. But no, I think Edgar Belanga and the way he acted, you go, well, I guess these dudes, these dudes, they just gonna start running. You're a boxer, bro. You have to learn how to adapt to styles. Not everybody's gonna be dumb enough to step in front of you. Okay? That's not gonna work. It's just not. Not everyone's a fucking idiot. Let me hit you, man. Just let me hit you with the punch I got. It don't work that way, bro. This ain't tough man. This ain't that's what's that sport where they slap each other? The motherfucker leans back and they slap one and you hold and the other motherfucker gets slapped. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers are getting CTE from getting slapped in the face. This ain't that sport, bro. Whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Can somebody tell me what that is? Rene Padilla. What's up, Kurt? Praise the Lord, Jesus Christ. Counterpunch to you, brother. God bless you back in this piece. Where you been? Sí, estamos jugando, amigo. Now, si fue queda. Si finica nada. Barry, be up in this piece. Português. Fala português. Let me put it this way. If Fury is so bad, then why wasn't everybody else jumping in the ring and knocking out the Bronze Bomber? Well, the legend of Arkansas. This is the question you ask yourself, right? Nobody believed in Fury because Fury ain't went anywhere. He didn't do anything. Fury came back to the sport fighting bums. And he did that because he wanted to come back into the sport and take the sport seriously, which he did. And it's saying not everyone's jumping in the ring with Wilder. Wilder wanted that fight. Wilder accepted that fight. He accepted that fight over the Joshua fight. These are facts. So you're saying, why did nobody else jump in there with Wilder? Wilder wanted Tyson Fury because he thought Tyson Fury couldn't punch. I don't even want to get on Wilder because this ain't even about Wilder, but this is the truth. When someone says shit like that, well, why did he go in there with Wilder? Because he knew Wilder couldn't box. And Wilder wanted him because he knew he couldn't punch. So he thought. That's why. See, both of those guys completed each other. One thought one couldn't punch, which Wilder thought Fury couldn't punch, so he's not really a big risk. He's just a big fucking fake-ass Muhammad Ali. That's what he thought. Fury wanted Wilder because he knew Wilder could punch, and he wasn't really convinced of his punching power, which was his downfall. But he knew, well, I know this guy can't box. He's a one-trick pony. All he does is throw a jab and a right hand, and that is what they say is that. That's why that fight happened. You can't deny what Wilder already said because he was pissed at Fury. I was offered more money to fight Joshua than you. Yes, London walks. They both cherry-picked each other too. Bars! Do you think that Dean White is Dillian's husband? Seems like to be the reason why he took his last name. No, man, let me tell you something. Dillian White had a child at like fucking 10 or some shit like that. Would you watch a Chisora versus Areola, Gatekeeper versus Journeyman? I would watch it. I like fights like that. Like, it's refreshing to see other people get it on besides the people that we want to see get it on that really hardly ever get it on. So, Fear Bonilla. Yes, I would love to see a fight. That's why I love this. I like to see fights like Adam Kalnaki and Charles Martin. I love to see those type fights. But Luis Ortiz couldn't get it done, and he gets more respect than Fury. Well, I mean, you understand. You don't fuck around with Wilder, though. Don't get it twisted, Legend of Arkansas. I'm just telling you why Wilder accepted and Wilder picked Fury. Didn't mean Deontay Wilder ain't dangerous. See, people learned that. Ortiz learned that shit. Tyson Fury learned that shit. Dominic Brazil learned that shit. They learned that in the past since 2019. Since 2018, they knew don't fuck around and get hit by Deontay Wilder. No, Barry. Now, estoy no brasileña, pero cubano. The Scottish heavyweight title fight was more entertaining than Khan versus Brook. Khan versus Brook was that you imply that he's not dangerous. Anybody can jump in and beat him because he's only got one hand, so Luis Ortiz should have knocked them out. Simple. No, Luis Ortiz hurt him, and then he was beating him the second fight. But what happened? He got fucking hit. I didn't imply that he's not dangerous. I didn't. How the fuck I'm implied? I told you that he's dangerous. That's the difference. See, him being a one-trick pony, that's what he is, bro. What else he got? What else does Wilder have besides a right hand? What else does he have? Let me be fair. Wilder has one hand. He was always a one-handed champion. He just threw the jab there to throw the fuck off because that right's coming. Wherever that jab's coming, that right's coming. You know, like Luis Ortiz will always be the guy. And see, here's the thing. Luis Ortiz beat Charles Martin. Who else beat Charles Martin? Adam Kalnaki. Who else beat Martin? Anthony Joshua. So those guys are sitting by themselves, chilling, because they beat Charles Martin. Now, you have to give Luis Ortiz his respect at fucking 42, almost 43 years of age. He got the job done. You know, he beat everybody else except Wilder. But Wilder was the kind of guy, I mean, he caught him. I mean, that was a dangerous fight. That was a very dangerous fight. If Andy accepts the Chisora fight, who would win? I would go with Andy because Andy's sharper, he's fresher, unless he gets knocked out and caught in the first part of the round. Like Chisora has a chance the first 5 rounds. Other than that, I think Chisora gasses out. He's older. He's been in wars. He's lost 12, 13 fucking times. He's been in there with probably down there everybody. Right? You know, in the UK especially. Luis Ortiz's punch resistance was affected by those Wilder KOs. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Fuck. We don't know. I think what affected Luis Ortiz mostly is his age, man. Because, I mean, you have to understand, Ortiz was old when Wilder fought him the first fucking time. He was 39 at that time when he fought. They fought March 3rd. Okay? He was 38. No. Yeah, he was 38. And he was about to be 39 and 18. And that's always been Luis Ortiz, bro. Luis Ortiz, I have him beaten a lot of, probably except for Tyson Fury. I have him beaten. If give Luis Ortiz age 35 fighting Joshua right now. Fuck it. Let's do this. Let's be fair about it. If Luis Ortiz is at age 32, that's Anthony Joshua's age. Anthony Joshua 32 with Luis Ortiz. That would be a fucking fight to see. Tyson Fury said it in best. He was like, well, Luis Ortiz has old legs. He's 138 years old or however, 80 years old or however old he is. He's old. You know, he said Luis Ortiz would have destroyed Wilder if he was 30 fucking 5. Yeah, that's true. And let's be real. We don't know how old Ortiz really is. We don't know that. So let's look at it like this. Before people shit all over Ortiz and make all these old people jokes, yeah, he's old, but that motherfucker is old. He has a family. He has a daughter that has like some type of condition, and he's fighting for his family. Man, that's fucking awesome. And you have to look at that and understand, like, this dude is fighting. He doesn't know anything else. Like Miguel Cotto told his big titty, fine ass wife when she was crying, when he got the shit beat out of him in his fights, he told her, I don't know what else to do. I don't know anything else. Luis Ortiz doesn't either. He believed in his skills, so he got the fuck out of Cuba because they don't give a fuck about taking care of their people professionally. They don't. They don't support professional fighting. They want people to be poor and fucked up and living off shit and giving $20 a fucking month and all that dumb shit like that. They don't care. That's political bullshit. So he left there to come here to make a better job and a better life for his family, and he's doing that. And he's fucking old. And he's still knocking motherfuckers out and making them stand up and do this shit here. That's what he's doing. So it's like, yeah, the more people talk about Ortiz being old and, oh, he's crusty, and he's 48, he's 50. So that means this motherfucker's 50 years old and still able to do what he's doing. Magnificent, priceless. Now, did he get hurt? I was kind of scared for him, like, yo, you're getting hit, bro. But he's fucking old. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean he got up and didn't regroup himself and got the job done. It is what it is. So, like, a lot of people talk about that Ortiz shit, like, yo, do you look at Andy Ruiz. Do you really think Andy Ruiz want to fight Ortiz? Why? Because he could fucking lose. And then what he's going to look like. The former unified heavyweight champion that upset the twice beaten Anthony Joshua, the cash cow and the heavyweight boxing platform, gets knocked out by a fucking really 51-year-old guy. Andy ain't stupid. No. He's old. Pero como tu dije, es viejo. Es viejo, mija. I'm not fighting him. He might hit me like he did Martin. Then I'll be laughed at. Then I'll never get a fight. Then Eddie will never call me. He'll never call me, mija. I'm not fighting him. El cubano es muy machismo. Hell, no, dude. That ain't gonna fucking work. You know, I mean, that, like, Ortiz, dude, like that. And people talk about he's really old. That motherfucker won his last fight. Fuck y'all. You know what I mean? That's it. He beat fucking Charles Martin. Another former fucking champ. You know? And Wilder can still say, shit, fight his old ass then. You fight him then. Right? And he ain't dumb. He ain't fighting Ortiz. He's not. He's fucking good. Fucking, he can punch. And he's old like that. I'm not going to be embarrassed. Nah, man. He don't, you know, people are not stupid. Abel Sanchez wasn't dumb. He knew, I'm not going to bring fucking Joe Joyce in there because what'll happen? Joe Joyce doesn't have to go down to get stopped by Ortiz. You have to understand that. Okay? He did not duck Usyk. You're way off, base boy. True, though, a man in his 50s still ranked at the top 10. White versus Fury, who wins? I'm going for White. I just see an upset. I don't know what it is. White's just doing different shit. You know, everything's against him. Mauricio Suleiman, they shitting on him. They doing all that unfair shit, 20%, where they could give him 35, 30. You know, fuck, 25 at least. They give him 20%. They give his ass the bare minimum. Yeah, I think that shit's building in White, and White might come out and fuck Fury up for some reason. And Fury talking about, I'm going to come in 300 pounds. You can come in 300 pounds if you want to, bud. You know? Such a shame Miller popped dirty before the Joshua fight. Would have had changed his whole landscape. Maybe we wouldn't have seen Fury Joshua then. That's the fight I've always wanted to see. You know what, Slim Surly? Let me tell you something. Jarrell Miller, I feel bad for him too, but how bad can you feel for his ass though? Nobody told him to take all that shit. And it just shows you, you know what? I'm convinced that motherfucker was juicing this whole time. He just had a system where he cycled off his meds or those peds, and he was cool by the time they start drug testing. That's what they did. And anybody that knows, oh, man, get the fuck out of here. AG, I know you juicing. I know you juicing. Motherfucker, you probably heard through the grapevine from some drug dealer that sold you your shit and made himself more sellable by saying, hey man, AJ and all these motherfuckers take this right here, this EPO, man. Take this shit. This shit'll have you fucked up and you slam all the women too. It'll have you up and you be up. Oh, for real? For real, B? Shit, give me that shit. Popping them pills. And then they got him. That's why he was like, get the fuck out of here. We all know. I know people. Yeah, you know people. Because you were doing the shit. That's how Jarrell Miller knew. He knew because he was taking drugs. So I can't feel sorry for Jarrell. I feel bad for him because I'm like, dude, you missed all that money. You missed it. And you gave it to Andy. And then here's the thing. If I'm Jarrell Miller, I'm like, dude, fuck Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz, what did he do? He fought him twice. He beat him, then he fought him again, then he did shit after that. Happily ever after, he did nothing. That's what he did. And if I'm Miller, I'm like, fuck. I let Andy do this shit. And look, what did Andy do? Andy beat Joshua, got fat as fuck, and got beat by Joshua. Right? He beat Joshua, then got beat by Joshua, and then took a whole year off. Who does that? Thunder's Production, salute. Coming in with that $20 KA. Counterpunch to you, brother. Jarrell Miller even worth talking about? Well, I mean, it depends, people. If Jarrell Miller can get off the juice, he may be able to do something. But I don't know. And if he never... I don't think he had a substance abuse problem different from other people. And and I think he felt pressured to take more drugs because he was fighting the top guy. X899X, counterpunch to you. Miller is more juice than orange juice. Yeah. And he was saying, you're talking about like minute amounts, but then that's just his unlucky ass. Do you know why? Because it was so less that was left still in his system, right? Real men do juice. Joe, cut it out. But it was so less of the amount that he was almost cycled off of the shit that he was on. So I know he felt like shit. That's what happened. It was so minute because by the time he had just kind of miscalculated maybe a day or two. Because in 48 hours, that little minute amount that they found, especially the second time, that little minute piece of that EPO, I think it was, that they found in his system, in 24 hours, he probably would have pissed that all the way out of his system. They probably it wouldn't even detect. Okay. So I think that's exactly what happened to Jarrell Miller, the poor bastard. You almost got away with cheating the right way. You know what I mean? He missed a day. He miscalculated a day. Miller, 300 pounds, and he still needs meds. Big for nothing. He's just a big ass boy. And I think because he's big, he might have to worry about stamina. I think that was what, his issue was. Yeah, he get big. He has the weight behind his punches. He looks like a big ass warthog, especially with the fucking mohawk and all that shit. Look like Bebop from Bebop and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right? Miller is a top heavyweight. He will be a future champ. Carl Young, I don't doubt it if he can get his shit together. He's still young. He's like 31, 32. He's 23-0 with 20 knockouts, 1 draw. So, I mean, he was doing security for Floyd. So he's definitely a hustler. So he gets around, Yeah, close but no cigar. Exactly. You know what I mean? He was almost there. I mean, he was almost clean. But the AJ fight, his coach even said, "Man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you. Stop doing what you're doing." So his coach even knew this motherfucker was. So if you make it that noticeable for your coach to see shit you're doing, so that means you couldn't even wait to get out the gym. Damn, you could have got home and just, right? Oh, massage it in, massage it in, massage it in, massage it in. Oh! Fuck. Poor bastard, man. So he felt he had to do that shit. Who excites you all in the up and coming of the heavyweight division? And Jared Anderson. I want to see what Frank Sanchez does. Mike Hunter, no. Mike Hunter's kind of, he's off the grid because he's kind of like you have fighters, man, like Demetrius Andrade, Michael Hunter. There's a couple more that are just falling through the cracks. Kurt, who wins, Shakur versus Lomachenko? I have no idea. In a couple of years, I'd say Shakur, but like right now, it's a toss up because I didn't see the same Lomachenko. People might think I'm crazy. I didn't see Lomachenko moving the same way. Thoughts on Fabio Wardley? He's decent. I seen who did he fight? Eric Molina. Yeah, I think he fought Eric Molina, and got rocked a couple times. I mean, but he got the job done. Quick hands. Anderson would beat Dubois. I would like to see that. That would be a good fight. That fight should happen, actually. And I think that would be the opportunity for Jared Anderson to become a world champ. Secondary, but still, WBA. AJ will destroy Usyk in the rematch. Hazel Kenrick. Well, he has the trainers. He has the people behind him. He has the people that knows Usyk on top of what he experienced with Usyk because he's been 12 rounds with Usyk. Or 11 rounds, 2 minutes, and and what, 50 seconds or some shit? 53 seconds. Is this true? Did he actually leave or just speculation? KW Christian. No, this is the source that said he's leaving or left or something. But now I think about it, is that all that safe? Ion Robinson. What's up, brother? Counterpunch. What do you think about Kambosos and Haney? I think the fight should happen, Mark. Usyk would be dumb not to fight AJ. I mean, Usyk can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's simple. He can do whatever he wants to do because nobody's making him do shit. But I don't like the fact that they're saying, "Hey, he's leaving." Like I don't like that. I think they should get him where he's going and then say, "Hey, Ukraine, he's left Ukraine because he's officially safe in this country." Fuck, Russia could hear that shit and try to bomb every plane, hoping he's on the plane. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't like that idea. Hey guys, Usyk's leaving. He's leaving Ukraine. It's crazy. I thought Loma will leave at Usyk will stay. Little surprise, but oh well. Yeah. Haney's going to be exposed. Well, I got to see the fight. You have to understand, Haney better come with his A game because for one, he was not the first choice, and for two, if he loses this opportunity, he's going to fall through the cracks also. Has something changed in boxing gyms development? Oh, you know what? In three, he's in Australia, so he can lose the fucking decision. Kurt, do you think Russia drops a nuclear bomb? Oh, Joe, I fucking hope not. Because if they drop a bomb on the Ukraine, that will be World War III. You don't fucking throw nukes and nuke people, especially a smaller country, just because you want it. What the fuck will you do with a nuclear place after you bomb it? It's ours. Okay. I was at Lee Wood fight Met Dean White, very nice man. Ian Robertson, yeah, cool, bro. Cambosos is boo boo. Kurt, which boxer would you like to meet right now? Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson. I see a lot of heavyweights beating Dubois. He gassed out in 3 rounds against Joyce. He couldn't put Joyce out in the first 3 rounds and didn't have a clue of what to do. Well, Jared Anderson could do it. He could get the job done. But we'll see. We'll see what Dubois does. I'd be very surprised if Haney wins. Haney better put on one hell of a performance because he is in Australia. He will be fighting in Australia. Who wins, Joshua or Usyk? It's a toss-up, man. Off the top, you got to go with the guy, Usyk. But then again, what Usyk are we going to see? The only boxer I've ever met was George Foreman. Nice guy, huge hands. Oh, I believe that. The lean, mean, fat-reducing grill machine. George Foreman. AJ boxed Usyk and looks what happened to Usyk's face. Much less if AJ uses his combinations and uppercuts. Imagine that will happen. Hazel, he just needs to target it to the body. Go upstairs with the straight right. Everything work else is down to the body. Total body assault. Who's better, John Cena or The Rock? The Rock. Warrington ducked Lara and disgraced the fight. Wait a minute. I forgot I have met Jermaine Taylor. Does that still count? I mean, yeah, Jermaine Taylor was a boxer, wasn't he? He was fucking undisputed middleweight boxer of the world. He took that shit from he took that shit from Bernard Hopkins. Wonder if Usyk is going to come with a distracted mindset or more brutal, motivated mindset. I don't know. I mean, definitely his mentality would be put to the test. I don't know if Usyk can be any better. He was perfect, damn near. No, he got the job done. I agree. AJ knows himself. He did not give his all in that last fight. Okay. Flick Jabs Boxing. What's your thoughts on the possibility of AJ versus Ortiz? Well, it depends on Usyk. If Usyk comes over, there's no Ortiz. There's no fucking Joe Joyce. There's nobody else. Now, that would be a damn shame if, yeah, I do remember that, Brandon. That was bad for Bernard Hopkins. But no, I mean, if Usyk comes over, he's fighting him. But like I was going to tell you guys, it would suck if Usyk came out to train and then Eddie jumped the gun and fucking signed with somebody. You're fighting Deontay Wilder, mate. We always wanted this. Let's hit that like button for Kurt, fam. Yeah, let's hit that like button. We got 191 people in here. We got 182 likes. Nice. Usyk's 8's a high-profile target. The Ukrainian government are underground. What they doing? Zooming, Mike Carpenter. Come on, man. Work. Problem. The last thing is on Usyk's mind. Well, we'll see. I don't know what my favorite division is. I don't know. Maybe heavyweight. Canelo versus Usyk at heavyweight. I don't know. Probably Usyk because he knows how to move. Canelo doesn't like movers, like people that are very high on the boxing level. Can't believe Don King is back. I don't think Don King actually went anywhere. His stable of fighters got so insignificant because you had Bob Arum, then you had Oscar De La Hoya, then you had guys like Mayweather, then Al Heyman, then you had DAZN, you had Rock Nation, you had 50 Cent, you had a lot of people coming in promoting boxing, and you just couldn't compete. People seen only in America. Usyk is the most talented boxer I've seen in years. He's pretty talented. Usyk is mentally tough. Yeah, that he is. Fury versus Big Pharmacy Miller. I would watch it. Do you think AJ thought? You think AJ thought Fury Klitschko sends Usyk another dimension? Nope. Because dude, let me tell you something. Usyk, the way he moves that head, he's just not moving it to be moving it. He's moving it to get out of the way of punches. Search and destroy. Where you been at, man? We've been almost here 2 hours. Bodybuilding gas quicker and Usyk exhausts you. That's correct. Usyk is a good fighter. That's also correct. Richard Schaefer, a promoter now, think he was with Golden Boy for a long time. Yeah, he was until he went to Al Heyman and PBC. You think fight happening in July? I doubt it. It's going to happen in June. Yep, that's when it's going to happen. Whoever came up with that Fury fight and with that Fury versus Big Baby Miller is the fight actually sounds exciting. Two big heavyweights, anything could happen. Well, they're going to talk shit. And you know Tyson Fury. I dropped this bum 7 times in sparring and sent him packing. Now he gets a fight with the Gypsy King. Yeah, you always talk shit. You always talk shit. You. I did. You know it, you big bum. You juicing bum. Well, you take the Nadrolone too? You took it too with me, you big dulcer. You a cokehead. You did coke with me, you big dulcer. I wanted you to lose some weight. What do you got, Big Baby Anderson or the Cuban Flash? I don't know, man. That's a good fight. That might be the next super fight, actually. I love to see Robert Helenius versus Otto Vilene. Why not? That's a good fight. What do you make of the narrative by some boxing experts that Usyk isn't great fighting backwards? This explains why he wasn't impressive against Chisora. I don't know, but he still beat Chisora, so everybody has a flaw. What do you make of the narrative? Okay, got that one. Do you think the government bodies forced him to fight? No, I don't think so. AJ, please run. AJ has a very good jab to the body. I think Usyk will be in war mode. AJ better be ready for war. I think AJ is ready for war, though. Who are you, Matchroom Puppets, doing? Schneider is in the house. Okay, Schneider is in the house. What's up, Schneider? I'm Joshua fan, but I think Usyk has his number. Hey, Deontay Wilder said that. I love it when you mimic people's voices, especially Bob Arum. Flick jabs boxing. I don't mimic anybody that doesn't have it coming. Fuck Eddie Hearn, the pompous prick. Give me some of that shit. Kurt, instead of fighting Spence, do you think Crawford should fight Jermell Charlo if he can't get the undisputed fight with Spence? Why not? I mean, Jermell already said what he would do if he went to 154, so let's see if he actually does it. But I don't think a lot of those guys want that smoke. Quan, big guns. I think Haney will KO Cambosos. I think that would be the best thing. He's going to be fighting him in Australia. Flicks, jab, boxing. AJ has Usyk's solid trainer. May help him. As Usyk sold. Problem with AJ is his chin ain't all that. I don't think any of them's chin is all that. Parker versus Hergovic. Good fight. I am not supporting Spence fight until he gives Crawford a shot. I think they need to agree to fight. And then that's the problem, and that's the narrative, Michael. He's not giving Crawford any fucking thing. They have to agree. Don't believe all that bullshit you see and hear. Oh, people saying, "Oh man, Eric Spence outsales Canelo." I'm like, get the next. Matthew Branch, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. AJ needs to learn the dirty tricks and maul Usyk. No, he don't. He just needs to fight him. Who has better chin, Joyce or Prime Tua? Oof. I don't know, Renee. That's a good question. Andy Ruiz versus Joe Joyce. Who wins? I gotta go with Joyce. Because Joyce ain't gonna give out. He ain't gonna let up, dude. AJ lose to Ruiz because Ruiz was hitting AJ behind the head. No, that one punch he caught him, that wasn't behind the head. He just got caught with a shot. Or what's up, these fighters acting like girls and avoiding confrontation? Yeah. Yeah, we don't do that, Mike. We don't have to do that no more, Mike. We don't have to call people and disrespect them. But then right before that, I ain't got no friends in boxing. Why do you care when you're fucking going to jail for threatening people and snatching them out of cars and shit? Who cares if you call them out? You got attempted murder and battery charges and all that shit on you. So what would you care what someone thinks? But anyway, Joshua needs to slow the fight down somehow if he can make Usyk work. No, he's not. Usyk's going to make him work. Mike Tyson punked Big Maul. Name the names. Yeah, he did. Name the names, man. You are AJ #1 fanboy. AJ needs to shoot his jab more rather than always use it as a measuring stick. Yeah, like he did with Ruiz. He stuck that jab in his face. What do you think about the LDBC representing Fury like he never cheated? Respected him. It was going to happen. People have to turn around and change their tune when they say something fucked up or they've been saying something for a very long time. It happens. I mean, they were just shitting on Tyson Fury because they couldn't understand why Tyson Fury beat him the way that they did. It was no excuse for it. So you had to make one up. If AJ wins, is undisputed next? I don't know. It depends on who wins the WBC strap. And if Dillian White wins, they're going to set up a Dillian White Anthony Joshua fight or a Dillian White Usyk fight. That would be a good fight too. Joshua should try southpaw versus Usyk. Mueller, 27. No, he will be destroyed. Fury will retire. AJ will fault mentally. We had all the good games from Punch Out to Super Knockout. Kings, it's been too long. Nuke, it has. I want to see AJ versus Dubois. AJ is mentally weak. Usyk too tough for him. Kurt is the true Fury going to the 300 pounds. Search and destroy, I don't know. He might. But then again, we don't know. It might just be shit he's doing. AJ going southpaw would be the worst plan ever. Yeah, Colossus. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I think AJ has changed mentally this time. You can feel it in the interviews. Yeah. Southpaw. But guys, Oleksandr Usyk is supposed to be leaving the Ukraine if he hasn't already left. I will keep you guys up to date with my content. I thank each and every one of you, the thousands that came on to check out this podcast, this live stream. You guys be blessed, be safe, and everybody on the set, that's a good fight, Bobby Collins, has been counterpunched. Peace.